Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. We're taping here on the 16th of June. This will hit on the 17th. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
And as Dave said,
think about baseball, swing all night. Yeah.
The first segment will be devoted to baseball because they have got a lot of problems, a lot of issues.
It should be Festivus the way we're going to go off on them.
We've got injuries. We've got controversies. We've got the idiocy of Rob Manfred, who...
If you thought Selig didn't know what the hell he was doing, Manfred is even worse. This guy is going to go down as the absolute most horrible commissioner in the history of the sport.
So why don't we start with that? Because that seems to be the topic of the week. In the middle of the season, I give you credit. You were the one. You can look back in the archives of Sports Frenzy 2.0 here.
I told you this was coming, kids. The crackdown on foreign substances for the pitchers.
In the middle of the season, though. Boy, this is really not a smart move.
Well, the problem is it's always been in the rule book. You cannot use them. It's never been enforced. Or it's been so sporadic with no teeth to anything.
Right. So now what I'm worried about, what I'm scared about is you get a guy like Joe West, you get a guy like Angel Hernandez.
Oh,
the biggest egomaniacs out there. Because now the rule is, kids, if you have not heard this, the rule is starting here next week, every pitcher will be inspected at least once a game.
Yep, all relievers when they come in.
Right. No foreign substances, no sunscreen, no, what is it?
Spider tack.
You know, rosin is it. That's all you get. You get the rosin bag and that's it.
I've heard players talking about wanting to go with pine tar, which has been a legal substance for the batters. I will concede letting them use the pine tar.
But again, this is just an example of Rob Manfred not having any control over the game.
Yeah.
Because the 10-day suspension that these guys are going to get if they are caught.
It's bullshit.
They get paid.
Not only that, but if you're a starting pitcher, you're probably going to miss only one start.
Right.
And if you're a reliever, that's going to impact your team more. No, if you want to make it, it's for starters, they would miss 10 starts. That's the only equitable way to do it and the only way to put teeth behind it.
Right. I agree completely. Because now we've got these guys complaining about all of a sudden this past week they've had to change the way they're throwing the ball. And Tyler Glass now, who just got done here with the White Sox this 3-game series.
Torn UCL.
Right. And he's blaming Major League Baseball for it.
I'm not. The way he was throwing, he was going to have an issue regardless.
But
I call bullshit.
But now he admitted, but I'll give him credit. He admitted he was using sunscreen. He did. He admitted he was using sunscreen and rosin to grip the ball better. So I'll give him credit for being honest. You know, he's not A-Rod.
No, I will give him
that. He's not Barry Bonds.
But I still call bullshit that the one game he pitched without it caused the problem.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here the rest of the year. Like I said, I don't have a problem with them cracking down on these pitchers because technically they're breaking the rules. They are. But I don't want Joe West and Angel Hernandez
saying, look
getting
at me,
even more power than they already have. These two egomaniacs.
And these are the guys who are going to be watching the catchers. They're going to be looking at the position players, trying to catch them in the act of doctoring the ball to try and make an example of them. Because that's the other thing. The pitcher's responsible, even if a position player has it. unless the umpire can say that, no, they doctored it for them. So it's all a bunch of crap.
And we're also talking about this now in the middle of summer.
Right.
What's going to happen when we get into September, when temperatures get colder in Minnesota, in Toronto, if they're allowed to get back up there? I know
late
it's a dome.
October in Chicago.
Right. So they go to they lick their fingers, as they always do. They lick their fingers. They go to their mouth. What's going to happen with a guy like Joe West or Angel Hernandez?
They've always been allowed to lick their fingers.
But is that going to be the case now?
It damn well should.
That's not a foreign substance.
It's not. So
but again, I don't like giving the umpires even more power than they already have. And here's another issue I have with this. We've been trying for years to speed the game up, get it going, and this is going to slow it down again.
You need to put in the pitch clock.
And stop the batters stepping out.
From every pitch.
And
walking away, readjusting everything.
Stop with the no more Garcia Parra crap.
You don't have to readjust your batting glove every time. You don't have to take
It's a nervous habit. It's a nervous habit. They're doing you a favor by telling you, get over it.
Having played baseball through high school, you don't need to do that. You take half step out, catch your breath, step back in, readjust, and you're ready to go.
Right. Absolutely agree. Now, that being said, this has been a very bizarre week for injuries. We've had Max Scherzer's out.
Another groin for a pitcher.
Yeah. Cody Bellinger's out.
Yep. Bryce Harper just left the game with a back.
Yep. And we're gonna revisit the injury thing when we get to the NBA, because you're gonna get, if you want to call it the Narpian opinion, be that as it may. I did play sports up until 10th grade. But I'm getting tired of the whole injury thing. Everybody gets injured all the time, and they got to have time off, and Jesus God, I'm getting sick of this.
Yeah. Well, Sox lost another player, Nick Madrigal, going down with a torn hamstring.
Right.
Had to have it surgically repaired.
Right.
So what kind of conditioning are the guys going through now? Are they not stretching like they used to? Are they doing the wrong exercises?
Are they being babied? Is the problem
that
they're not being put through all the workouts, all the stretching, all the off-season programs that they used to, and now they keep getting negotiated further and further back, where less and less time is put into physical training.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but great, they're working out, they're doing the weights and stuff. Guess what? That does not help with your flexibility and agility that you need in all the sports.
No, baseball and basketball, that does not help one damn bit.
No, and football, you need to bulk up, but you also need to have the flexibility in there as well. And they're not going to have that with as little as they're doing in camps now. So they're babying themselves, and they're paying the price for it.
And again, we're going to get to the NBA in the next segment, and we're going to hit on this even harder, because we're starting to see the fact that injuries and, to me, lack of physical training and lack of drive is impacting the NBA playoffs. But to wrap up the baseball talk for the week, your White Sox are looking pretty stout.
Not bad. Got a little hairy as we taped from this afternoon. We blew a lead, came back and won it in the bottom of the ninth, but we took 2 out of 3 from the Rays. So now we are tied with them atop the league there.
Yes. And you're 5 up on Cleveland, I believe?
Yes, as of now.
Yes. Again, bad news for Madrigal. So sorry about that. The Cubs.
Although Eloy Jimenez has been cleared for baseball activities now, so he can start getting ready to make his late summer push.
I tell you what, I think you guys are looking really good. Really good.
If
the pitching staff
we've
looks
got some
phenomenal.
bullpen issues with a few guys. But if
everybody
they can work that through,
what I can't stand is
fine.
people rag on Dallas Keuchel. And they go, well, 4.5 ERA, and he will get you 12 to 15 wins. He'll be your number 3 starter.
Fine.
He'll be fine. The key is Rodon has come on and become a number 2 legitimate starter out of nowhere.
Yeah. Flirted with another no-hitter the other day.
What you need is Giolito to get his ass in gear.
Head out of his ass working with the current catchers.
Right. You get that all settled, you're good to go.
We should be fine.
Now, that being said, the Cubs are 38-29 as we tape. They have just moved a half game ahead of the Brewers as the Reds just swept the Brewers.
What the hell?
I told you last week. I picked the Reds last week. I figured they were getting hot.
And you were right.
Yeah, but they didn't put up the great numbers that they thought they would. At home, they go on the road to Milwaukee and they sweep. They sweep the Brewers.
Go figure. That is not a good division there.
Well, they have your Cy Young pick, right?
Yeah, they do.
He does not want to be reminded of this because that hasn't worked out very well.
No, it has not. He has been a major disappointment.
But that being said, what I was getting to was the Cubs are currently beaten up with the Mets, out in New York, and they've lost the first 2. And now they got DeGrom tonight, so they're probably going to go 0-3 against the Mets. Tomorrow is Hendricks and Stroman. That could go either way. David Ross, again, I can't stand him as a manager. I'm sorry, Cubs fans. I can't. They asked him the other day. I heard this overnight on the Score out of Chicago. They asked him, are you concerned with the fact that now the team's starting to backslide again with the hitting, and now all it is home run or nothing? And instead of giving a mature, decent answer, what's our record? How'd we do in those games the last week? How'd we do?
Yeah, how are you doing now?
No, I don't like that. I don't like that answer at all, Rossi. I don't like it at all.
They didn't ask.
That's avoiding the question.
Yeah, they asked, how are you going to deal with your bats not hitting now? You don't go back and say, well, we did pretty good last week.
Yeah,
that doesn't answer the damn question, moron.
Yeah, and that's why I do not like him as a manager. That is not the way you handle that situation. You say, we'll try to get this guy going. We'll try to do something different with this guy.
We're going to do a little extra work in the cage.
No, you don't say, how'd we do last week when we were hitting so good? Okay.
That was last week.
That's an immature, garbage answer. Sorry. As a Cubs fan, immature, garbage answer. Now, we were out at a little soiree Saturday night.
Yes, we were.
And we were watching the White Sox demolish the Detroit Tigers. But how did we miss this? The relief pitcher for the Tigers, Bo Burrows, came in and puked all over the mound Saturday night against the White Sox.
Because we were at a soiree and we weren't fully paying attention to the game in its entirety.
We were drinking enough where we should be puking. But
that's that Lord Calvert 30-year-old whiskey.
And the salty caramel flavored whiskey.
That's right.
And then the poor kid, he throws up on the mound, getting destroyed. Now, granted, they were already down by a ton, so it wasn't his fault. But he pukes on the mound.
Nerves,
And then they send him back to AAA right after the game. Poor kid.
So now he's got the nickname Pukey.
Pukey McGee.
Or what was his last name?
Burrows.
Barfing Burrows.
First name Bo. So what
we'll call him Barf.
Bo Barf Burrows?
Yeah.
Because that's what we do on Sports Frenzy is denigrate and demean everybody we possibly can as often as we can.
Because really, it's the American way.
All right, kids, that's your baseball segment for this week. We'll be right back. We have got tons of NBA and NASCAR coming up. Stay tuned. We will be right back. When the mindless zombies at the major sports networks won't leave you alone. When the forces of evil on local sports radio have you cornered. Load up the boomstick known as Sports Frenzy 2.0. Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. Kevin Dave will drive the dull and boring voices in your head away and offer you the sports salvation you need. New episodes drop every Thursday. And don't forget the weekend edition every Saturday, where the maestro and the conquistador might just review your favorite horror flick. Sports Frenzy 2.0. It's groovy.
Hey kids, welcome back to segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the conquistador Dave Height.
Along with the maestro Kevin Crane.
And we're going to start off with a little racing news hitting NASCAR and the SRX and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
Yes, the NASCAR series took a week off, the Cup Series.
Yep, they were in Texas for the All-Star event.
Which I'll admit, I did not watch one single second of. Because I am firm in my belief that I don't watch All-Star games, I don't watch All-Star races. If you do not impact a driver, a player's legacy, I don't give a rat's ass.
There you go. I did not watch any of the Open. I had more important things to do than watch a non-points race. And I wound up watching the last couple segments of the event as congratulations to Kyle Larson.
Again.
The summer of Larson, his comeback tour continues.
Yeah.
Well run. Another dominant performance by Hendrick Motorsports. And congratulations to Chase Elliott's pit crew for winning that competition for the best overall pit stop. $100,000 to that group.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. So now we get back to what matters, what counts. And now fun times begin, kids, because with race 17 coming up here on the 20th of June,
into
a new
the
track.
Great unknown. This is going to be fun.
The Cup guys have not raced at Nashville in 40 years.
Yeah. It's been a long, long time.
So the Ally 400 will be held this Sunday at Nashville on Father's Day. And so that being said, I think a lot of us were kind of in the dark. I know I did more research on this race than I ever have for any race.
Just to see what was out there?
Well, trying to look at comparative tracks, comparative surfaces. That being said, I don't know how much faith I have in my pick, but Mrs. C is with me. So she and I are both taking William Byron.
There you go. I'm going with Ryan Blaney.
As is the elder statesman. And then the Big Blue W, along with the juggler, Nick is taking Denny Hamlin.
Interesting.
The Big Easy, Aaron is taking Kyle Larson.
Safe pick.
And we're waiting on Doug. The governor, we're waiting on him.
So I considered riding dirty this week.
I did too. I did too.
Taking,
Yeah, I did too.
taking he who shall be
Yeah.
called Rowdy.
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Kyle.
did too.
I flirted with that, but I still don't trust that team at this point.
I know. And the Larson pick for Aaron, that's easy. You know, that if I had one left, of course,
Yeah.
I'd consider that. Same with Hamlin. I have plans for Hamlin.
You and I have plans for Hamlin.
The only other, again, Rowdy was one I was considering very strongly, but I think I have him slotted later on.
I know where I want to go with his last two.
So Bowman was the only other guy, really, with Byron. With the way Hendrick has been running this year.
Yeah. No, I almost took Bowman, but I've got plans.
Okay. Yep. And this is, again, a really cool, fun season for us because so many different new tracks, road courses, you know. And the thing is, kids, if you haven't figured this out by now, with all the road courses they've thrown in, you're not going to win all the road courses because there's just not enough Chase Elliott and Martin Truex picks. There's just not enough.
There's not.
So you're going to have to take somebody outside of those two. So this is going to be fun. I'm looking for points. I'm just looking. If I don't get a win, but I get points, I'll take it. My next 3 weeks are locked and loaded. I'm telling you, next 3 weeks, next 3 races are locked and loaded. David, I know, I misspoke there.
Yes, you did.
Not 3 weeks, 3 races.
And we will let you know that little tidbit on our next episode.
Now, that being said, we're going to promote SRX. I am going to promote SRX because just give me some primetime Saturday night sports. Just give me something outside of the football season. So SRX debuted this past Saturday night at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut. You've got 12 cars.
And I forgot to set the DVR, damn it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the first hour you didn't miss anything. The second, maybe.
No, okay.
Maybe. But I'm still trying to figure out what the rules are. I'm still trying to figure out what they're trying to do. My problem is, why do you have these heats?
You've only got 12 people running anyway. What are you doing running heat races?
They run one heat, and then they invert. And then they run the second heat, and then that's how they set the field.
What's
the point of running the first heat? That's my initial question.
Were they trying to do what they were doing for the All-Star race in Texas with this bullshit inversion?
Well, that's my question. Why would you go balls to the wall and try to win the first heat when you're going to be put in the back for the second heat, and then that's the heat that's going to decide the starting order for the 100-lap final race? Why would you that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Random draw start, run a heat, and that determines the start for the feature. Or you split the group up into two.
Why not do the average of the two? Why not do the best average of the two?
There you go.
That's your starting lineup for the final 100 laps for the race that really matters. But the first heat is a waste. It really
that
is.
Makes no sense.
Why would you go balls to the wall to win the first heat when you're going to start in the back for the next heat, and then that's the one that's going to determine the starting lineup?
It
doesn't make any sense.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Now, here's another thing they did that I was not a fan of. Greg Biffle got rear-ended, and his oil pan cracked. So his car was trash. Ray Evernham, who is basically the Lord God King of this thing.
So he's the tech guru who
Right. He came out and he said, we can put Biffle in a backup car.
Oh, they had a backup available.
Right. And they tried to give him as worn tires as they could because you cannot change tires in the entire race.
Really? The
Right.
whole night?
You can refuel. You can make adjustments for wedge, springs. You cannot refuel. You cannot change tires.
Even if one goes down?
No. Now, that's where
Flat
I get confused.
tire and you're done.
Well, this is where I get confused, as they say, well, if you have repairs you need to have done, you don't lose a lap.
Okay.
But then they kind of changed the rules in the race. Bill Elliott had an electrical problem right off the bat when they got to the actual race.
Yeah.
And they got it fixed. They put him back out there. No laps lost. But the minute the electrical problem kicked in again and he had to come back in, he was done. So I don't understand. What do you mean when you say you don't lose a lap under caution for repairs? What do you say constitutes repairs? Is it a wreck?
I would think it would be anything as long as there's the caution laps. You can work on the car. If there's 5 caution laps and it takes you 4 to make the fix, you're not 4 laps down.
Right. And they're trying to make sure that since they only have 12 cars,
that the competition,
all 12
there.
cars, they do their best to make sure all 12 cars are competitive.
Yeah. All right. Now, you said that they trying to find worn tires for Biffle for the backup.
Right.
Why didn't they just pull the tires off his first car and slap them on the backup?
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought too, man.
Wouldn't that have made sense?
Yeah, but somehow he got better tires. They said his tires had half the wear.
They should have pulled the tires.
And that's why Biffle ended up second at the end. Biffle ended up second because
he had better
tires. He did.
They should have pulled him off the car that he screwed up and slapped him on the
Well,
back
it wasn't
up.
his fault. You know, he got caught up in some garbage.
Yeah, but that's still...
But I agree with you.
Technically,
I agree.
that's
you should have taken those tires off that car. Yeah. And here's the best thing. They had NASCAR guys, Cup guys, Hamlin, Keselowski tweeting in during the race. Hamlin jumped in right away and said the exact same thing. Said, what's going to happen with the tires on Biffle's car now that he's going to the backup?
Yeah.
Are you going to give him?
He should get the tires that he had been running.
Yeah, Hamlin was all over it. Denny was all over it. He was like, I don't...
Kudos to Simple Jack for that one.
I want to see what's going on with these tires. But in the end, the thing I loved, the local legend, Doug Coby, won the race.
Nice. Took out all the superstars.
All the superstars go down in flames. Doug Coby, the local legend in Connecticut, wins at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Was there any hint of impropriety? No. Okay. I'm just checking because you never know.
No, he dominated. He really did. Now, the thing is, Biffle was second, and Biffle should never have been second. Now, with his initial car, with his first car, he was the strongest car on the track. But when he got rear-ended and his oil pan got busted, in a normal race, he would have been done. But again, with how they're trying to keep this competitive and keep the fans interested, they put him out in the backup car with fresher tires.
Bad move.
Bolted all the way up to second. But Coby kept him off the majority of the race. Kudos to Doug Coby.
Nicely done.
Now we get to see. Now they're going on dirt next week.
That's going to be fun.
Now, unfortunately, and I know you guys are all out there going, stop talking about racing. We're tired of racing. All right, my last little tidbit is, unfortunately, SRX Racing was the lowest rated major network show of Saturday night.
As somebody who watches shows on CBS, even through DVR, it was not well publicized. The advertisements were damn near non-existent for it.
Right.
So that's the network's fault right there.
I agree with that. I do. I don't think it was promoted. But again, Saturday night is a wasteland.
It is. It's desolate.
Yeah. So the only thing I'm worried about is now are they going to push this to CBS Sports Network and put on reruns of Blue Bloods?
God help us all.
It was actually, give it another week, kids, especially coming up on the dirt. I think they're in Iowa this week. So this will be fun on the dirt.
We like dirt tracks.
Yeah, let's see how they perform here. This will be fun. I think if Dave and I were in charge of this, we could make the changes that would be necessary.
We would have thought this through, and changes would not need to have been made.
The first heat would be, I wouldn't even do the first heat. One heat, then the race, done. All right. NBA. Going back to injuries. We talked about injuries in baseball earlier.
Oof.
Boy, basketball. All right, I'm going to be negative, Kev. I know, shocking, but
no.
How are you supposed to attract viewers? How are you supposed to keep your fans interested when all of your marquee players keep getting injured? And LeBron comes out and says, oh, today, LeBron, I knew this was coming. Space Jam 2 on HBO Max next month.
Just a chance.
I want to drop him on his head multiple times until he bleeds from his cranium. God, I hate him. Captain Obvious.
Kawhi Leonard, the latest to suffer a knee injury.
Yep. Kawhi Leonard could be out for the entire round here in the West semifinals.
Yep. Ugh.
We've also got, Kyrie Irving is out for the Nets with an ankle.
Yep.
James Harden hobbled back onto the court last night with his hamstring. Looked terrible.
Yeah.
But at least he
made an effort.
He made an effort, and that opened up enough of a door for Kevin Durant to put on the game of a lifetime.
That was incredible.
Was it 40-plus points, 15-plus rebounds, 10-plus
assists? Was it like 49 points?
Right. But in terms of record, nobody's ever done 45-plus, 15-plus, 10-plus in the playoffs in history.
That was a damn impressive game.
Yeah. Yeah. And people called him out and said, okay,
can you back it up?
You got paid for nothing last year. You got paid $35-40 million last year to sit on your ass and do nothing. Time to show who you are.
Yeah.
He did.
And then now you also have Chris Paul out indefinitely in the COVID protocol. We don't know what's going to happen. They're not saying if he's been vaccinated or not. If he has been, then that's going to reduce the amount of time he's in the portal. But,
and the good thing for the Suns is that they swept.
Yes.
So that buys them a little bit of time.
Yeah, because the Clippers and Jazz being tied at 2.
Yeah, they're playing tonight.
That looks like it. If that goes the distance, that's in the best interest.
But again, with Kawhi Leonard out now, is it going to go the distance?
Probably not. So then on the other side.
And then Joel Embiid, who we talked about 2 weeks ago, and then we apologized last week. Now it looks like the injury is serious. Now it looks like we were right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now...
Why do we question ourselves?
We shouldn't, because we are the Lord God, kings of sports. We know all. We are the be-all, end-all. We told you that Joel Embiid's injury was serious, and there was no way he should be playing.
No,
He got
not
through
at all.
2 games.
Barely.
And now he's in trouble.
Yeah, next season could be in jeopardy. So you'll have to wait and see.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
The competition committee for the NBA is now going to look at unnatural jump shot motions.
Oh,
to make sure.
You mean when people kick their leg out to try and initiate contact for a foul?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Gee, isn't that what's been going on forever? And they keep talking about it and never do anything?
Sounds an awful lot like
Major
MLB.
League Baseball.
With the sticky stuff.
Oh, my God.
This is why I hate the NBA. This is why I hate it. I don't like talking about it, kids. I'm sorry. It's our job. It's what we have to do. But I don't like talking about the NBA because the NBA is a pile of crap.
And we still have a few other things to discuss. You
Oh,
got some firings that have just come up.
Yeah, I know. I feel so bad.
You're master of panic.
I love the Master of Panic. Everybody knows I love the Master of Panic.
Stan Van Gundy, done with the Pelicans after 1 year.
He is a man stuck out of time, is what he is.
Yes.
Stan Van Gundy should have been a coach.
In the 70s.
Yeah, 30, 40 years ago.
70s, 80s was his time.
Because Stan Van Gundy actually wants to hold the players accountable.
He actually wants them to play defense.
Yeah. But this is it for him. I got to believe he's done. He's burned all his bridges. Even with the NBA recycle, there's no way in hell is anybody giving him a chance again.
No. Scott Brooks is out in Washington.
Now, he lasted 5 years in Washington, which when I heard that today shocked me because I did not think he'd been there that long.
Yeah, it looks like a change of direction. The big kind of surprise, Donnie Nelson, GM for the Mavs, is out. They've parted ways.
There's something going on with the Mavericks.
There's no reason listed for what happened there.
Little Lord Fauntleroy, Mark Cuban, Lord God dictator of the free world down there. Yeah.
He got a bug up his ass and wanted to make a change.
They had one magical year, one great run with Rick Carlisle and Dirk Nowitzki.
Yep.
And now, he thinks it's almost like Jerry Jones in the NFL. You think about it, right?
Yeah.
These guys, their egos get overwhelmingly huge and take control. They won't let anybody help them, advise them, give them some suggestions as to how to run the team properly.
Nope, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, the Porzingis deal so far not working out all that great. Doncic, okay, great player. You got one. We've talked about it here for months and years. You got to have 2 or 3. You got to have 2 or 3.
The one doesn't cut it anymore.
No. So, I do want to correct something I said last week. I'm not going to apologize. I said LeBron James might have changed to number 6.
Right.
As a dig on Michael Jordan. It's worse. It's worse than that. I actually might have respected him if he'd done that a little bit more. He did it for Space Jam too.
Oh, good God.
Because that's his number in Space Jam. And
it's only going to be for one season.
Like I said earlier, he knew about all these injuries that were coming because, it was a shortened season, a COVID season. I can't stand him!
All right, shall we move on?
I hate him like poison. Okay. Now, we're going to move on to our third segment here after the break. NFL, Moments of silence and the
NHL,
Red Foreman
PGA,
dumbasses.
whatever else we can scramble in there.
Oh, Jesus, we got a lot, don't we?
We still have a good bit.
All right, kids. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Stuck in a no-win situation? Wife being held captive while your feet bleed? Take a second to decompress. Pull out your smartphone and listen to Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. And don't forget to check out their Facebook page. The Maestro and the Conquistador will take your mind off your dire predicament and give you the best non-PC sports commentary you'll find anywhere. And once you compose your exit strategy and take down some German terrorists, you'll want to yell, "Yippee-ki-yay, Sports Frenzy 2.0!
Let it go, let it go. Oh, wait, that's not Frozen. It's the NHL. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
I'm choking on my beer. I'm the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I wanted to do something to see if I could get you to spew your
Did
beer
a good
all
job,
over everything.
as always. We've been a team for almost 40 years, man. 30. All
right, NHL updates. We have to follow the Rangers storyline after that whole debacle they had with accusing the officials of malfeasance and all that crap, the firing of everybody. They just hired their new head coach, Gerard Gallant. Last led in the NHL the Vegas Golden Knights in their inaugural season to the Cup Finals, and then they let him go in the middle of the 2020 season. So what's he been doing? He led Team Canada to a gold medal in the IIHF World Championship. Whoop-de-doo. Good luck in New York, buddy. You're going to need it with that crew.
Yeah, I was going to say Vegas seems like they're doing all right without him. So
yeah, no issues there.
So the playoffs for the Stanley Cup now stand as we tape on the 16th of June.
Yep.
Tampa Bay and New York, the Islanders, are 1-1.
Yep.
And Vegas is up 1-0 on the Canadiens, snapping, what, a 7-game win streak the Canadiens had?
Yeah. The Montreal had been rolling.
Yeah.
Game 2 is tonight as we tape on the 16th.
Right.
So there's your hockey update there, eh?
All right. Couple quick NFL notes. All negative, because that's what we do here. And plus, they're not playing. They're not playing. So where are we going to get positives? It's all going to be negative. All the guys that aren't reporting to minicamp. We've already talked about Aaron Rodgers.
Ad nauseum, and now I think I will puke if he actually shows up.
Jamal Adams has been excused from Seattle minicamp, but you wonder if there's still not something going on there where he wants a new deal. Stephon Gilmore, unexcused from New England minicamp. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I would poke the bear known as Bill Belichick.
That's a surefire way to
he
find
is
yourself
underpaid
out of town.
Compared to all the other cornerbacks in the league, he is underpaid. He is. But now, as a Dolphins fanatic that you are, I want to talk about Xavier Howard.
And his pseudo-excused absence as they're in contract talks.
He just got a new deal in May of 2019 for 5 years and $75 million. And now he's already wanting a new deal?
Money? I'm sorry. No. Shut up and play ball. You got a damn good deal.
Yeah, and Flores seems like he's trying to toe the line here and be the nice guy. This is one of the times where I would want one of those mouthy, high-profile GMs like a John Lynch or, somebody who would come out and say, we're not renegotiating contracts that we just gave out within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And if you don't like it, we might actually listen to you and your agent looking for a trade. Now, this is the problem with the Packers. The Packers, their front office, I know it's a different situation because they're a public-run company, technically.
Technically, yes. The city of Green Bay owns them.
But if I was the guy who Aaron Rodgers had been degrading and demeaning these past 3 or 4 months, I would love to get in front of a microphone. Oh, my God! God help us. This is why you don't want Dave and I running a franchise, because we would bitch slap
There
anybody who acted like this. No. You get the contract. You agreed to the contract. You stay to the contract.
And maybe with a year left, we might take a look at it.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, we might trade you for a can of fucking beans, because we would send a message to everybody else saying, don't screw with us. This is why I love Bill Belichick.
He does not take kindly to being held captive.
That's why I'm going to be really interested to see how Stephon Gilmore's holdout works versus Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is dealing with some neophytes, some younger...
Milquetoast.
Yeah, perfectly said. Milquetoast type guys in Green Bay.
Now, we've discussed what we would do with him. We'd call his bluff and make him retire.
Yeah. And he's got to give all that money back.
Yep, that's the way to go. You're not on the hook for anything.
And I don't think, from what I'm hearing, the buzz on the street, I don't think Green Bay fans would be that upset. I think it's kind of like 65-35. They realize he's being a bitch.
Yeah.
He's being a little bitch.
It's time to maybe move on.
Go back to Hawaii with Miles Teller and his girlfriend and Shailene Woodley, and you guys go run in the waterfalls, and you have a great time. We're playing football! We're serious about playing football! Put Jordan Love in.
Yep.
Do it!
Why not? Pull the plug. And we're not just saying that as Bears fans.
Oh, no. No, we would never do that. We would never, ever want to sabotage one of our division rivals.
No.
That would, no.
No, we're talking from a pure football standpoint.
We want to face them on the field at 100% strength, always. I mean, with the Lions, it's just pure idiocy. They're not 100%, but
that's right.
That's a topic for another day.
Yeah, they're going to have a lion crapping in their own press box because somebody's going to screw up.
One other NFL topic before we move on. God, it's kind of serious. I hate to bring this up on the show, but the Indianapolis cop who was suing the league over the videos and the tweets that the league put out accusing him of killing someone due to systemic racism. Now, here's what I want to say. There was not a player involved.
What the hell is the NFL doing getting involved with this?
This is what I've been saying for weeks and months, and the Conquistador just summed it up perfectly. The leagues need to stay out of politics. Stay out of it. Don't do the whole we're gonna not stand for the national anthem. We're gonna do all the different jerseys and do all the stop it. Stop it.
You're not doing anything to solve any problems with what you're doing now.
Stay out of politics, because now you're starting to see the repercussions. You reap what you sow.
Ugh.
All right.
Next topic.
Golf. You had golf stuff. You want to talk about golf stuff?
I did want to talk
about. We do have the U.S. Open this weekend.
U.S. Open is coming up.
Yeah.
we have to go back to our favorite pair to start with this one.
The greatest rivalry in golf.
DeChambeau and Koepka. It's rumored that the PGA reached out to DeChambeau's camp asking about being paired with Koepka for the U.S. Open. And it was an equivocal no. Gee, go figure.
But of course, afterwards, they both came out, both Koepka and DeChambeau said, "Oh no, we would have been fine with it." I still think Koepka is the stronger mentally of the two.
Yeah.
Koepka's like, I'll play it anytime, anywhere with him.
Yep.
But DeChambeau doesn't like the fact that he's not Mr. Popular and, people don't like him, except Aaron Rodgers, who he's going to have to play with. We didn't even bring up the fact that Aaron Rodgers was wearing an I'm offended shirt.
Boy,
God, two pansies.
Another frickin' snowflake.
I'm telling you, these two couldn't have been better paired together.
Oh my God, Mickelson and Brady. Brady is having a frickin' field day trolling these guys.
I guarantee, I might not watch it, but I'm rooting for Brady and Mickelson 110%.
Oh, hell yeah. Definitely. And even if they don't play well, they win the social media crap.
Brady wins every time. Brady is the GOAT.
He is brilliant in what he does.
He's
funny.
Brady has never faltered when it comes to how to handle social media, the press, the NFL front office. They took his cell phone away.
Okay, whatever.
He got nailed for a while on that. But he bounces back, and what does he do? He says, I'll keep winning, I'll keep winning, and I'll keep winning.
So shut up.
Yeah, leave me alone, people. I'll keep winning. And that is one of the few camps early on here we have not heard one peep of dissension from, right?
No.
You know why? Because if you mouth off in Tampa Bay camp, the GOAT's coming for you.
That's right. He's quietly kept this team together. So it's going to be a fun NFL season down in Tampa.
I think it's going to be hard to beat them. I tell you,
it's going to be tough.
Speaking of mouthy, nasty, underachieving players, Le'Veon Bell has to mouth off about Andy Reid. He's got to come out and say, I would never play for Andy Reid again. Well, here's the problem, Le'Veon.
You didn't play for him to begin with.
The last 3 or 4 years, you haven't played for anybody. You stole money from the Jets.
Yep.
You sat out a year.
And then you didn't ingratiate yourself at all with the team.
So here's one thing you're not going to get. You're not going to get a yellow jacket because you're not going to Canton. Okay? And here's what I'm trying to get to. The great fantasy football players of all time. All right? Priest Holmes, Le'Veon Bell, what do they have in common?
Attitude?
They don't make it to the Hall of Fame because they burn out too early, because their egos get too goddamn big.
There you go.
Le'Veon Bell is going to be lucky to cleaning up a piss bucket from the third string running back on the Bengals.
And we're defending Andy Reid in this situation?
I know. After all we've done and said about...
We can't stand Andy Reid.
And how he's handled his son and that whole situation.
His personal life is a disaster. And we're actually... Oh, my God, I can't believe this.
Yeah, I know.
And, there probably is something to be said for what Bell is coming out, not wanting to play for him. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, because, I think you're right. And I'll stick up for you on this. Because Andy Reid over-manages his teams.
Yes, he does.
He has had ungodly talent with Philadelphia. He's an ungodly talent with Kansas City.
And he's underutilized most of that
One
talent.
Super Bowl win. One Super Bowl win.
Because he sticks with one or two people.
Yep.
He doesn't know how
until
to
Andy
mix it
Reid
up.
figures out how to create a dominating team like a Bill Walsh, like a Bill Parcells, like a Chuck Noll, he is never going to be in that pantheon up there at the top. He's going to be at the second level.
You left out Mr. Belichick with the personnel decisions.
He's like freaking 10 times above them. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. All right, speaking of GOATs, going to tennis. The argument is on for the greatest tennis player of all time, the GOAT in tennis, as Novak Djokovic wins his 19th Grand Slam title.
Wow.
At the French Open. So he's one behind Nadal, one behind Federer. He's younger.
Yep.
He seems to be able to win on all surfaces.
Yeah,
whereas Nadal
he's
more
a
of
one-trick
clay guy. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying, are we going to see now the greatest of all time? Now he has a chance. He has a chance this year to win all 4 majors and a gold medal. Never been done before.
This is true. Now, what is the level of competition?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. He's going against Nadal and Federer. So he is actually fighting
against the guys he's trying to catch.
Right. So it's going to be really hard for people to argue if he gets
more majors. So it's Baby
majors.
New Year versus Father Time.
Now, here's the cool thing. At the end of his French Open victory, he was 2 sets down. He came back, won the whole thing.
And ran through the streets of Paris naked.
Shut up, Dave! You deserve that one so much.
I was waiting for that one.
He gave his racket to a kid who was sitting on the sidelines, who had been encouraging him the whole match, telling him, hey, you can do this. Hey, do this, do that, do that. Trying to coach him.
Good for him.
He gives his racket. The current auction value of that racket is $25,000. If the Djokovic goes through this year, wins the next 2 majors and the Olympic gold medal,
that kid is sitting on a freaking gold
sitting
mine.
on 200, 300, at least $300,000.
Easy. And at that point, oof, that's a hard call to make.
Always be nice to your idols. Always be nice to your idols.
And idols, be nice to your fans.
And that's what happens. And look at the publicity he got.
It's the feel-good story.
It is.
That's what you want to see. Fan-player interaction that's positive, not throwing shit at people.
Like
not screaming at each other, not trying to go after each other.
Now, on the women's side, I'm going to botch her name, and I'm sorry. Barbara Krejcikova won both the singles and the doubles.
That's impressive.
She was unseeded in the singles.
Kudos.
Wins her first Grand Slam title, but winning both singles and doubles, I believe that is unprecedented. So, there you go.
Well done.
Now it is time to go from the glory of victory to the agony of death as we go to our moments of silence. I have one for you this week on the sports side. Jim Thielen, coach of Mount St. Mary's, won 830 games.
Wow.
passed away in his 90s. And of course, as always, we pass along our prayers and best thoughts to his family.
Yep. And then I have Jim Mudcat Grant, who was the first Black American League pitcher to win 20 games in a season, which not a bad thing to do. So he had a pretty darn good career. So our condolences to his family and friends.
Yeah, now unfortunately we do our 180. And of course, we have, in this world that we live in this day and age, we have many more idiots, many more stupid morons than we do people we want to honor. So we move on to the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week.
You have the more traditional. I have some of the off the beaten path.
Yeah, I'll give you the one that most people would know. Giannis Antetokounmpo, former MVP of the NBA. Dude, can you shoot a free throw within the allotted time? Not once, but twice in the playoffs now, he has been nailed for taking too long to shoot a free throw. 10 seconds! Shoot the damn ball!
They call it the charity stripe for a reason.
This is why people say you're overrated, despite the fact you are an MVP. Dude, shoot the ball!
Horrible. All right. I'm going to Eastern Kentucky. There's a little league down there. I will not give the Park and Rec's name to protect these morons somewhat, but the coaches and fans, adults at a little league game, over one questionable call, got into a fight, a melee on the field in front of the kids. Kids who are having fun. These dumbasses just destroyed what would have been a great season for both these teams. It's inexcusable to take that away from them. Shame on you.
I have never understood the ego of parents who have to inject themselves into their kids' lives. Never understood it. Never.
That's horrible.
Never. Let them win or let them fail on their own. If you see a bad call, you can yell out, "Hey, hey, ref." But getting in fights, I mean, this happens too much in this day and age. I think this is built up rage from other issues.
As the great Willem Devane in the Bad News Bears and Breaking Training said, let them play. Let them play. Let them play.
There you go, kids. Bad News Bears. You're never going to get references to them on normal sports talk radio because they don't care. All right. I am going to give you two milquetoast dumbasses. I don't know if I want to give them full-on dumbasses because I can see their side. I can see where they're coming from. But
the way they went about it,
given the rules involved, you're still dumbasses. Michigan quarterback Nate Johnson just got recruited to the Wolverines program by Mr. Jim Harbaugh. Mr. Jim Harbaugh told all his players, again, it's a little petty, it's a little, ticky-tack, but Ohio State is your number one rival. You do not wear red. And this kid wore red cleats into training camp. So that didn't go over very well with Mr. Harbaugh.
Oh, that's not a good first impression.
I just don't understand what these kids are thinking.
They're
Coach, you're playing for the yellow, the maize, and the blue. What are you doing wearing red cleats after the coach specifically says no Ohio State colors will be permitted at training camp?
Dumbass. No, that's got to be full-blown dumbass.
You get all right. I wanted some judgment here.
If he was told to look at this specifically not to wear Ohio State colors, and he shows up with that, he is a full-blown dumbass who is not committed.
Okay, because I didn't want to rip the kid apart.
No, if he was specifically told, then he's a dumbass.
Thank you. All right, here's another one, kind of on the fence. So again, I will defer to the conquistador.
Oh, we're playing dumbass or not?
Yeah. Where's Jane Lynch? Is she gonna host? Like she'd never be on our show. Distance runner Shelby Houlihan.
I like the name.
She has the U.S. record in the 1,500 and the 5,000 meters. She has been banned for 4 years for steroids. She says she got a bad pork burrito from an authentic Mexican food truck.
Bullshit. That's a lame-ass excuse. She's a dumbass. For even concocting.
Full-blown dumbass?
Full-blown dumbass for trying to get people to believe that stupid-ass story.
Well, here's the part I love. And this is part on me. Okay, are you the word awful? Okay, OFFAL. Right. I have always thought that meant excrement.
No, it's like the innards,
guts. It's like
guts, the
she
intestines.
claims that the offal of the pig has more of this testosterone / steroid she tested positive for, and because this was an authentic Mexican food truck, they used the offal, and that means that's why she tested positive. Here's my question.
No!
Am I eating, if I go to an authentic Mexican food truck, pig guts? I'm not eating just regular pork. I'm eating pig guts?
I don't know. She's a dumbass for trying to pull this off.
She's another cheater.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to. She's another cheater.
All right. I'm going out to Kansas for my next dumbass. This idiot was trying to qualify for doing a PGA qualification for the Wichita Open. Luke Smith, who along with his caddy father, playing around with Austin Daly, they refused to help Austin look for his ball off an errant shot, complaining then that he was taking too much time playing. So Luke Smith, being upset, punched Mr. Daly. And now he's been arrested for assault. There's witnesses to this. You aren't even full-blown professionals. You're a dumbass for this. You don't do this type of thing.
Your dumbasses seem to have a lot more violence than mine this week.
That's why I had to go this route. It's inexcusable.
Kids, just get along.
Play nice.
Believe
it's not
me.
difficult.
The maestro is not one to play well with others, but come on.
We're all in the same sandbox and nobody needs it in their eyes.
There you go. I'm Maestro Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
We hope you tune in to our weekend edition, which will be coming up on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox, just like this show. Check out our Facebook page. Don't forget to rate us.
Please.
And if you want to leave a comment, there is a message button icon, something you can click on to say, hey, you guys suck ass.
Or you guys are phenomenal.
Always Mr. Optimistic.
Always Mr. Negativity.
All right, kids. As we mentioned, check out the weekend edition. As for our sports stuff, next week, same time, same place, same bat channel. We'll see you next week.
Good night.